Hi, my name is Sikkes.
Paige Mcclelland.
Meril Rasmussen.
Welcome to Exploring Distributed Cognition and Situated Learning
for ETEC 512.
For our Masters in Educational Technology course called Applications of Learning Theory in the Analysis of Instructional Settings.
Knowledge in our shared world is distributed.
Nobody knows everything.
Everybody has their own perspective.
Knowledge does not live in books. Yes, it is stored in books, but book knowledge is inert.
Knowledge lives in human consciousness.
As a shared human resource, knowledge is inseparable from the languages we have developed to co-construct it.
Knowledge is encoded into the tools we have developed and shared across generations.
It is rooted in our efforts to communicate.
Distributed cognition is an exploration of
how we think together and depend on each other, and how we outsource
complex processes so that tasks become more manageable. Distributed cognition is the system overview.
Situated learning is the street view. It explores what that distributed system looks like through the eyes of a learner.
Jean Lavy's anthropological work in the 1970s included a study of the apprenticeship of Liberian tailors, which helped her and her American colleagues rethink the process of learning.
Building on sociocultural theory, Brown, Collins, and de Guide cite Lav's work in expressing that
activity, concept, and culture are interdependent.
No one can be totally understood without the other two.
Learning must involve all three.
Page 33.
The sociocultural theorists' critique of traditional schooling goes like this.
Teaching methods often try to impart abstracted concepts as fixed, well-defined, independent entities that can be explored in prototypical examples and textbook exercises.
But such exemplification cannot provide the important insights into either the culture or the authentic activities of members of that culture that learners need.
But if we aren't to teach school the traditional way, it is still not clear what situated learning means for our classrooms and schools.
The Maker movement offers one exciting example. It opens the possibilities for students to situate their learning by
engaging in discussion,
becoming active producers rather than passive consumers,
and using background knowledge.
Students become makers who learn through participation and experience.
Learn more about the Maker movement by watching this 2-minute video.
So in the coming years, you're going to see a collection of makerspaces across campus. And what we're hoping is that these spaces can be connected, that we can each have kind of a distinct kind of mission here on campus. My hope for the space is that this is the way we can start to think about teaching and research and that integration. Spaces like this start to overlap these research agendas and allow students within classes to kind of see the big ideas that are happening in so many of the faculty research spaces. The Maker movement is a national and international movement that's been popularized by Maker Media. And so this is anybody who's actually just using tools and materials to make and build things. And this could be everything ranging from crafting to high-tech kinds of Fab Lab technologies like laser cutters and 3D printers. We started a couple years ago thinking about what this could mean on campus. Here within the School of Education, it gives us an opportunity to really transform how we think about pre-service and in-service teaching, really repositioning teachers as designers of new educational landscapes rather than consumers of the educational content that's being delivered to them through the standardized curriculums and other kinds of efforts. You think about the things that would have high application within the K-12 settings. So you'll see that we have a laser cutter, we have 3D printers, we have sewing machines and vinyl cutters, and an array of kind of hand tools and everyday kind of making tools. All of this technology is a way to sort of put this in the hands of our next generation of teachers.
The traditional model of education separates knowing from doing, whereas makerspaces link knowing and doing. Makerspaces can actively engage students in relevant and meaningful learning. teachers are able to facilitate collaborative knowledge creation. Students are challenged in an authentic learning environment to fully participate. From this space, students can adopt the tools and knowledge to be responsible, autonomous members of a community of practice. Makerspaces provide students access to tangible materials in a rich, fun-filled environment. The options for meaningful learning are limitless.
So far, we've been exploring situated practice from the student's perspective. But what if we look at the situated role of the teacher through the lens of sociocultural theory? What insights and wisdom might be uncovered through an anthropological study of the tools and activities of teachers? Kenneth Ruthven identifies 5 key structuring features of classroom practice.
1.
Working environment.
2. Resource system.
3. Activity format.
4.
Curriculum script.
5.
Time economy.
The working environment refers to the physical surroundings where the lessons take place, both the technical and the physical infrastructure.
The resource system includes all the tools and resources a teacher uses, including any textbooks, whiteboard, projector, web resources, computers, and other equipment.
The activity format is the pattern of activity in the classroom.
Are students sitting in a circle on the floor? Is it a lecture or a casual conversation? The curriculum script is the flexible plan that a teacher has in their head about how the lesson will unfold, including how to deal with unplanned changes.
After years of experience, most teachers know what to expect.
Time economy refers to the constant calculating that a teacher does around time management.
How do you convert classroom time into teaching time?
How do you manage class focus and cover the required curricular material within the available time?
Ruthven's framework of 5 key structuring features brings the insights of a sociocultural analysis
to the particular situations faced by practicing teachers.
As a final example of situated learning, consider the current effort to incorporate Indigenous knowledge into the British Columbia curriculum. Indigenous knowledge is now to be included at every grade level and in nearly every subject.
But what does this actually mean for teachers?
BC's curricular embrace of Indigenous knowledge can be seen as a move towards situated learning. Indigenous knowledge is inherently situated.
In Western terms, competency does not address whether that person is really capable of putting the knowledge into practice.
In the traditional Native sense,
competency has an unequivocal relationship to survival or extinction.
You either have
You
it,
either
you either have it or you don't.
and survival is the ultimate measure.
Cognition and Barnhart, 1998.
Indigenous knowledge has been shown in educational research to be pedagogically effective for teaching all students, and especially for teaching and engaging Indigenous students.
When attempting to provide Indigenous learners with a culturally responsive mathematics curriculum, educators found learners' engagement and interaction notably increased as math concepts were integrated with cultural
knowledges. For example, crab traps, fishing, and bentwood boxes.
Situated Indigenous knowledge is in direct contrast to the pedagogical approach used historically in residential schools.
In 1990, Athabascan traditional chief Peter John reflected publicly on a series of failed interventions carried out by a group of scientists intending to help his people.
As educational researchers Cognition and Barnhart
note,
the gulf between their compartmentalized, limited time frame view of the world and the holistic, multi-generational perspective of Peter John appeared insurmountable.
Indigenous knowledge ties people to place and is thus inherently political. It is both situated and distributed. As we face the imminent collapse of the Paris Accord, Indigenous knowledge is needed more
critically than ever before.
Still, it will take more than new curriculum standards to change the culture of education in Canada.
Educators will require adequate resources, training, funding, and
time to implement this new curriculum.
Perhaps we should also be looking to Ruthven's sociocultural framework.
What kind of resource system is needed to teach Indigenous knowledge in the classroom?
What are appropriate activity formats?
Can we talk as teachers about our internal curricular script?
Can we ask the same sorts of questions about our efforts to create makerspaces?
What are the resource systems, working spaces, activity formats, teaching scripts, time considerations
that we need to consider when designing makerspaces? Please join our group discussion regarding how
teachers can adapt to makerspaces
and situated Indigenous knowledge. Follow this link to our discussion forum.
At the MET Social Lab, scheduled live chats are on Thursday, November 24th at 4 p.m. PST and Saturday, November 26th at 3 p.m. Or you can drop in at any time and take part in the discussion.
If you are new to the MET Social Lab, please register.
And also check out the rest of our visual and academic references and other links on the next few slides.
Thank you for viewing our presentation.